Hi everyone. Okay, if you made it this far and you're on the third video, congratulations. Today I'm going to be dealing with all the ephemera. So I'll run through some of them quite fast because they're pretty straightforward. And the ones that really need assembly, I'll try and show you step by step so that we get it right and you understand how to do them. And I also want to teach you a few tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your kit and how to have a lot of flexibility so that you can make it your own. Alright, so let's start off with this one. Now with this one, the little pockets, I've cut them out here. Now obviously, let me show you the finished ones. Now obviously you can make these the way they're intended to be, which is just like a little pocket and you can put whatever you want in there, a little tag or, you know, one of these little pictures from here, one of these might fit, you know, something like that in there. You can always just put a plain card or one of the linings, just print that out and use that instead. Oh, it's come unglued at the bottom. That's meant to be glued there, by the way. So I actually think it hasn't come unglued. I just forgot to glue it. There we go. That'll fix that. All right. So obviously you can have it like the little envelope, like it's intended to be. But as an added little bonus, what you can do is just, let me show you. Now, I'm quite the queen of don't throw things away, so every little bit I cut off anywhere, I end up keeping. And I try and use it in something else, so. Okay, so at this point, I have cut it apart into 3 things, okay? So, with this one, we can either score along these 2 lines and have a tuck, like a tuck pocket. So you would glue those 2 edges, let me score that and show you, although I'm sure you know what I mean, but still, just in case, it might be easier for me to show you. There we go. And I've got this handy dandy little scorer which I love, and I use it on my trimmer. So there we go, and what we do is we fold under those 2. And when you've got your page, let's pretend that's our page, you would glue those 2 edges onto your page, and then you would have like a little sleeve that you could tuck things into. Then you would also have a journal card, which you could or could not use to tuck in there, or you could slide it into something else. Plus you'd have this bit left over. Don't throw it away, because this is handy. You can use it for other stuff. So say for instance, where is it? One of these little cards, okay? Just stick it on the top and you got yourself like a nice little tab, or you could actually line it up and then trim the excess off so that it would actually make a proper like little tag without the tab offset, or you could put it along this edge to make it like a little file folder. Incidentally, if you want to make these into like little file folders, just don't cut in between them. Just cut all around and then score along that white line and fold it and then glue the edges, and you'll have yourself like a little, well, you wouldn't need to glue the edges, but if you glued the edges you get a little pocket, but otherwise you just have like a little file folder that you can use the way that little file folders work. Now let's see, moving forward. So that's one idea for what you can do with this. So, you know, the flexibility is you can either have a little pocket or you can have like several components made out of it, like a little journal card, a little sleeve, and a little tab. Now, I've laid up a lot of these in such a way that hopefully it's flexible. So say for instance these bingo cards, they come laid up side by side, like right tight together. The reason I did that is you can either slice them into individual components, or you can cut it like this and then fold it in half and make yourself like a little booklet. Or you can glue along that edge and along that edge and make yourself a little pocket. So that gives you just a little bit more flexibility so that, again, you can make everything your own, so that you're not just stuck with doing it that one way. Okay, now, say for instance with these are fairly straightforward. These, you just cut them out. They're just little journaling spots. I turned this one into a pocket just by, you know, gluing along a couple of edges. Actually, it wasn't a pocket. I turned it into like a little sleeve, you know, so you can slide things in and out of. I glued it along 2 edges, and then the other side was a sleeve. But you can just use it as a journaling spot, as a picture. You can put the 4 little slits in your page and actually just pop the corners into those slits like the old-fashioned photos used to be laid. Or you can get photo corners and pop them in and pop that in to the photo corners, which looks really, really cool because it's sort of like photo albumation. Just adds that little bit of extra dimensionality, if you like. So here we've got, you know, like your little witch's apothecary label, and here's like a little poison one, and just general pictures. These are just meant to be fun, add atmosphere to your journal, and just be journaling spots. So they're not all that flexible. I mean, I guess you could, you know, layer a couple of them together. You could cut them at an angle. You could do all sorts of things. But you could turn some of these into a frame. You could actually put the slits in the actual picture here, and on the back pop your own picture inside those slits. And so then when you have it in your album, you'll have that page facing forward, and then when you turn around, you'll have your own photo with some journaling or whatever, you know, oh, us at the beach on May 15th, whatever you want to put. So so you can use those like that. These ones are fairly straightforward. Again, you can either, you know, fold them, turn them into file folders. You can fold them lengthways by not cutting in the middle there. You can fold them widthways. You can use them individually. You can trim them down. Don't feel restricted. You could even, you know, cut one of these out and then score in the middle of it and fold it in half and make a little tiny booklet. Don't feel that you have to use everything in the way that it's being presented in my book. Make it your own. Do what you want with it. Here we've got the library folders, library cards. These go with these ones. But again, you can use them on their own because obviously there's 2 of these. There's like, I put 5 of these on a page because I wanted to use up some room as well and give you the extra journaling spots, because these are cool. They add that atmosphere and grunginess without taking too much attention away. So I really like to use these a lot. So again, so you've got like 5 there. Again, cut them into individuals, fold them in half this way, make them into a little folder, whatever you want to do with those. They're very flexible and they're great for journaling because they've got the lines and everything. Because if you're like me, you don't write straight. Okay, so that's those ones. Now with these ones, I actually made a backing for these ones because when they're folded up, being the library cards, this part shows. So let me see here. This is one we prepared earlier. I've scored this one so that I can show you what I mean. There we go. So when you're putting this together, you score along all the edges, fold them, and then you would glue along those 2 tabs there and push it up like that. Now, somebody else, who was it? One of the ladies who bought this, I think it's Deb. She actually inked all this up and made it look like really grungy and old and antique-y. She sort of used like a vintage photo type color like that. And it looked sensational. And then she put one of the black tags in there. This one here. And it just looked so good. So you can make it your own. I actually designed this backing to go in it. And I know it's got lines, but I thought it would give you yet another journaling opportunity. So it would look sort of like that. And I've got one made up here. There we go. So that's what it looks like when you do the backing, or you print it double-sided. In this instance, I didn't print it double-sided, but this one I did. So you just print it double-sided, and then when you fold it up, you'll have the lines there, and you won't have to do major like work to it. Or you can, you know, spray it or ink it, or stick another picture there, or whatever you want to do. So again, just trying to show some flexibility. If you wanted to, you could cut these as well, like the other ones. Just cut the little tabs off, cut these, and you end up with 2 journaling spots. Or you end up with, like, you know, yeah, just 2 journaling spots, I would say. Or you could like fold that one in half and end up with like a little booklet. You could actually fold it into thirds and end up with like a little booklet, and that'd be the front, and then you'd have the back, and then you'd have a little sheet in between. So I'm just trying to show you options of what you can do with it so that you don't feel sort of locked into the one type. Obviously the tags can go wherever. I put a little tassel on mine. I used out of like yarn, and then I unraveled it to make it look sort of like, you know, scruffy. But you can use anything you want, ribbon, whatever you like, or not have a tag in it. Use like a piece of butcher's string to make it look a bit like a toe tag, I guess. You know, whatever you'd like. Now these ones are fairly straightforward. They're just little extra bits and pieces. You got your little apothecary label. This is from my apothecary label set. I just love this one. It's my favorite one, so I had to include it in this kit. Then I haven't finished cutting this photo out, but yeah, these photos are just, again, to create atmosphere inside the book, and you can either put something on the back of them, write on the back of them, put another picture on the back of them, whatever, and have them in your book. You could glue something on the back of this to make it into an envelope or whatever you want. This one is just like, again, to add a little bit of atmosphere, and it's a pretty cute little piece. Now I'm just skipping through quickly just to show you some of these pieces. Again, a couple of tags, nothing special about them. Another apothecary label. You can use any of the backing papers on these, or ink them, stain them, spray them, chalk them, color them. The world's your oyster. Do whatever you like with them. And I've got all the labels. Feel free to layer. You know, if you think that something like this piece, for instance, might look cool with, like, you know, one of these stuck on the front of it, you know, it does look cool. Hang on, let me see if I can find one that's already cut up. I've got to have them in here somewhere. You know, you get the idea. You just sort of stick something on the front there, and it looks pretty cool to have it that way. Oops. Now, of course, I don't have what I want exactly, but isn't it always the way? So, yeah, feel free to stick one of those on the front of it, or do it crooked, do it straight, you know, put one of these on there, whatever you want. Just make it your own. I actually use these a lot. These strips, these are 2 strips, and I use them at the top of those index cards. And they look really nice done that way. Here we go. Like, oh no, that's the library card, hang on. Here we go. They're actually the exact same length as the index card, so you can glue it to the top of it, of the index card, like that, and it just adds a cute little extra something to your journaling cards. Just makes it look cool. So we've got all these. These are just like, again, little journaling spots. You could fold this one in half. You could trim around it and just fold it there and end up with like a little ticket booklet type deal. Then I've got the 2 envelopes, the Dracula type ones with the Dracula logo. If you wanted to, you could cut the flaps off this and end up with 1 journaling card, and this you could stick on the top of, again, like an index card or any kind of a card to make it look like a faux envelope, or to make it just cut out the crest, stick that on there, whatever you like to do. Alright, and these, when they fold up, look quite cute too, and you can put things inside them. So, alright, now with this one, my computer, as some of you know, has had a catastrophic failure, and it's just like awaiting heart surgery practically for a computer, you know. I'm requiring a battery for it, and the wrong part came in, and so I'm still waiting, and I haven't been able to do any work until that happens because I have no computer. So it's been terrible, especially the timing is just absolutely shocking. But I'm hoping to fix these. But for the meantime, if you're using this, just cut these 2 tabs off. So you need to cut them off because otherwise this will make a box instead of making what I want it to make, which is like an expanding folder. So let me just quickly show you this. I'll trim along those two and get rid of them. I've already scored all the white edges on this one. So all the little dotted edges or white lines on this one just need to be scored. And also, if you don't want to put holes in there to like, because I actually tie it through, so I put a piece of ribbon through this side, and then when it's folded, this comes down on top of it and you can tie a bow, but it sort of obscures the eye. So if you don't want to do that, what you can do is just get your black ink and your dauber and just lightly go over those spots, trying not too much to overlap into this area, and it will hide those for you. And you won't be able to see them very well at all. So, and again, it just adds a little bit of grunge to it. So basically, when you're doing these ones, be sure to fold these here, these two, fold them inwards. And they've got like a little Y intersection at the end. Try and fold those the best you can. They can be a little tricky to fold, those little Y sections, but just do the best you can. They sort of come together. And then obviously where the glue here is where you're going to glue. And there's two of those. But just glue the first one first. And fold and glue. There we go. Now what happens is these center bits will fold in. There we go. I fold this bit straight in and down because I like to have a nice little edge there, but you can trim it off or just keep it there, whichever way you want to go. Now with this one, what I do is I actually tuck under the glue here right into the inside, and then I fold this one, the one that doesn't say glue here, I fold that one to the outside, and that will make your little expanding folder. You see that? There we go. So all you need to do is just, you can either glue on the inside of that and glue it to the inside of the folder, or you can glue it on the outside. It's really up to you. It depends if you're going to have this as an ephemera that you pull out, or if you're just going to glue it into a page. If you're going to glue it into a page, then by all means just glue it to the outside because you're not going to be able to see it. But there you would have it. See, that's when it's completed, it would look exactly like that. And that's that piece. All right. Now, this page here, this one's got 4 envelopes. And again, you can use them as envelopes, or you can just cut the edges off and fold them into booklets. These do, however, have the little notches taken out of them, so you may not want to do that. I like them as little envelopes. And again, all you do is you score these, glue them, and you got yourself your little envelope there. And you can put your little tag or whatever in there. This is one of the little tags that, oops, here it is. This is one of the little tags that comes with it. And, you know, it's about the right size for that. So that's those envelopes. Now, I just wanted to show you an example with pictures. These are my photos. I made these cupcakes years ago, zombie brain cupcakes. I actually make these wrappers, and they look really cool at Halloween. You just make the cupcakes, you make the icing, you wrap the wrappers around, and you pipe the icing on like it's brains, and you pour some like jelly or syrup or whatever in there, and it makes it look like blood, and it looks very gory and very cool. But these were photos, and what I did was I Polaroided them. So like I added that white edge to make it look like a Polaroid, and then some of these, like I put filters over all of these, so like to make them look old, so you can see the difference there. This one's more orangey, this is the original photo, this is with a filter, and then I made it like black and white as well, and see, to give it that dimension. And then I chose which ones I wanted, and I just went with that. I added a whole bunch of filters because I just didn't know what would look best with the book. But that's an idea for your photos if you're going to print them out, is you can add a filter and make it look antique and you know, like really go with the theme of the book. Now I've got these eyeballs, and you can either just stick these on a page or whatever, or what I'm going to do with them is I'm actually going to, this is not a proper like safety pin, not safety pin, paper clip, but I want to get one of those nice long ones, you know, and what I'll do is I'll glue these both together with the paper clip in the middle, and then this will be awesome to like paper clip things onto my book. I love that idea. So I just thought of that one day and I thought, yeah, that'll look cool. So it'll be like a little double-sided paper clip. And yeah, I think that'll look really good. But again, you know, make it your own, do what you want, stick it on the front of something, I don't care. Now these ones are basically all, now here's an example of another one that's laid up so you can actually like just fold it in half and have a booklet or a pocket, or you can cut it individually and have 2 tarot cards. And these are from my tarot set that I also sell, and I have them downloadable and I have them pre-printed like through a professional place. But I love these cards so much, so I had to include them again. And these ones, this is another little mistake. I got to sort of get rid of those, but it's not going to affect how you use these. You just trim those bits off. But there's your tags. Now with these ones, they're just mainly, they're like book covers and like pictures, old creepy looking pictures and things like that. They're designed just, again, to add that atmosphere of scary, creepy, spooky to your book. And what I will do with them is I'll either use them on the back for journaling, or I'll stick my own pictures on the back of them, so that it's like a hidden photo album, so that you have to take out every little piece and flip it over for the extra sort of magic, you know. There's like, oh, a photo on the back of it. It's like a, I guess, a lift the flap book, you know. It'll have that nice element of interaction when people are looking through it, so they're not just looking through an album, they get to interact with it. These envelopes, these cards are cool too. These actually fit inside these ones. I think this one's just a fraction small. I'm going to have to enlarge it just fractionally, but at the moment, if you trim just a little tiny bit extra off one of these, it will fit in perfectly, but I will fix that. And it's just got the tags. Again, you can cut these into just, especially this one, just into a journaling card, and just have it like that, or you can actually cut one side off and have it as a slide-in pocket. We've seen these, we've talked about them, they're cool, they're great, and they're very flexible. And then this one, you could actually cut that little bottom edge off. When I laid it up, I thought, you know what, you could actually cut that bottom edge off and you can fold it and make it into like a little booklet. Or you could just cut the individual pieces and use them individually. I just love all this sort of spooky stuff. It's just so cool. And these are, I don't throw anything away. These are the tabs I cut off the back of, off the bottom of this thing. And I will probably like shape these into like a tombstone, or like just cut a rounded edge and make it like a tombstone or something. I just can't seem to waste anything. Okay, and now this little booklet, I'm going to show you how to put this one together. You cut off the edges and then you score along all the lines. Here we go. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. With this booklet, you can either, if you want extra pages like I did in mine, then you can cut the bottom off here, line the pages with a nice paper, any of the papers in the kit, and then you fold this to the inside, and that lines, like you glue it, so that lines the cover, that makes the outside of the cover, and that makes the inside of the cover. That makes sense. And then these pages turn into 4 individual pages that are double-sided, so 8 pages when you've got the lining on the other side. And all you do is you cut them along the middle here, so you end up with 2 signatures. You fold them in half, and I stapled them into the spine of my book there. So it would basically be, see, you would glue it like this, and that would be the inside of the book, and you would fold it, and then the pages would be like stapled into that crease there, and you'd have all your pages. Or this does fold into a booklet of 4 pages without doing any of that. And all you need to do is score along the edges. And then, this is the part I always get wrong. You've cut, yeah. Okay, so you fold it in half this way, and then you cut up to that line. You watch me get this wrong. Probably. I'm going to try really hard to do it right. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do a separate tutorial on this booklet, because at the moment I can't edit my videos, which really, really is hurting me as well. Alright, and then what happens is, nope, it's right, there you go. Yay! Oh, almost right. I think I have to cut it again. Hang on a second. Hang on, let me see. Where else do I have to cut it? So that cuts right. And when you put it together, you glue it. Oh no, that's it. It's just the one cut. Okay, so when you put it together, what you're doing is you fold the front and the back, and then you make this diamond in the middle. And that diamond turns into a plus sign. And then you just fold it into a book. Now you are gonna, if you printed this on cardstock like I did, you're gonna have all sorts of edges showing and stuff, and you're just gonna have to correct that by, when you glue it, you just hold it in place really firmly and close it like so. But it's hard to show. But that will give you your 4 pages, you see. So there's the cover. You open it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what you can do is, when you're gluing this together, you can glue it along just one edge only and leave yourself like a little pocket in the top to slide things in, if you want. Or you can glue it along the top edge and leave yourself a pocket to slide things in the side. So it's very flexible again. But all I did with my rough edges, any edges that were showing, is I inked them. And I distress almost all my edges on everything. Now, if you don't have any distressing tool, now let me just show you an example of something that needs to be distressed. Here we go. Like, say for instance, perfect, bingo card. Now, if you don't have one of these handy distressing tools, or something similar to it, stop what you're doing, put everything down, go out and buy one. No, I'm only joking. Open your scissors like so. And this part here will do the exact same thing. You just rub it along the edge of the card. And what it does is it roughs it up. There we go. You're creating a V with your scissors. It's not as easy to use. I will be honest about that. But it is possible. Before I got one, I used to do it that way all the time. So see, it roughs the edges up. Or then you've got your little tool, which does it so much faster. And then I go ahead and I ink those edges because I just like that shaggy, raggy look, you see. And I think that's about it. Hopefully that you found that helpful. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'm always more than happy to answer any questions and help you out however I can. And I hope that you got some good information from that and that you can see how flexible it is. Oh, before I forget, I almost forgot. You recognize these? These little tabs are the ones we cut off the edges of the dividers. And I use these all over the place. I use them on the index cards and wherever to make like little file folders. And all I've done is just fold them in half, and that gives me a double-sided, and then I just like slit it up just a tiny bit so I can slide it on a card, and then I glue it in place. You see what I mean, right? You just glue it on, and then you've got like a little file folder or a little tab. Or what else you can do with these, which is really cool, is you can just, let me just quickly do one of these here. If you cut it diagonally like so, along the corners, or just cut it square, but I prefer to cut it diagonally, then you end up with this little journaling spot, you see, little title spot. And you can just glue that and write a title on there and glue it on whichever page you want, and that's what I do with those. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next video, which is the binding. Yay! See you later. Bye.